Fauna Robotics Sprout, designed with 100% cuteness, is built to be your new best friend. This robot is different from your factory robot because Sprout is designed to safely operate around humans, particularly little humans. Sprout is lightweight, expressive, soft to the touch, and built with no pinch points. It's ready to go right out of the box with perception, navigation, and movement already built in. But the great thing about Sprout is that it's educational. Instead of forcing developers to start from scratch, Sprout gives students, hobbyists, and roboticists a friendly foundation to build on. All of these potential modifications can help the robot truly sprout into your own creation. Fauna Robotics' goal is to make robots as familiar as laptops and bring general-purpose robotics out of labs and into everyday life. And if you could get Sprout into the hands of young students to work on, that would really bring the class to life. And to bring your design to life, you need reliable parts. And there's no better place to find them than Mouser Electronics. Amphenol LTW's M-Pronto 12M12 push-pull connectors offer fast, secure connections with a simple push-to-plug and pull-to-unplug design. This design significantly reduces installation time compared to standard screw-thread M12 connectors. The spring-lock design ensures backward compatibility with all M12 1.0 sockets, supporting up to 12 contacts and Cat6a data rates up to 10 gigabits per second. These connectors are built to withstand harsh environments and heavy use, offering resistance to corrosion and extreme conditions. Amphenol LTW's M-Pronto push-pull connectors are ideal for industrial automation, LED lighting, lifts, heavy equipment, communication systems, and more. Check them out today by visiting Mouser.com or by clicking the link below. Knowing terminal block types ensures safe, organized wiring for efficient control automation design and maintenance. To learn more, we present David's Corner.
Thanks, Andy. Whenever you open up an industrial control cabinet, you see rows and rows of these terminal blocks. They'll be attached to the metal DIN rails in the back, and their purpose is to connect the wiring and make it easier to connect and troubleshoot and isolate problems. But there's so many different kinds of terminal blocks, and sometimes you don't recognize it when you're just looking at the front of a panel. So let's have a look at a few of the different types of terminal blocks you might see. The simplest are what we call the single-level feed-through terminal block. It simply allows electricity to come in from a wire on one side and feeds it out through the other side. These might have springs or screw terminals or sometimes push to connect, but the purpose is just to allow electricity to enter and exit. Another alternative that's similar is what we call the double-level feed-through. These will allow electricity to travel between 4 or sometimes even more if we have a triple level to allow electricity to distribute between lots of different points, like for power or ground. Sometimes the terminal blocks may have additional things like, here's one with a fuse inside, to protect circuits. Here's one with a ground connection on the bottom to be able to allow a protective earth connection to distribute to the entire panel. Sometimes we have plug-in modules where we can create an LED display or a resistor or an inductor or even another type of fuse or circuit breaker to be able to protect downstream circuits. These aren't the only types of terminal blocks. There's plenty of others, but being familiar with at least a few of them gives you some way to be able to troubleshoot and diagnose the problems inside your cabinets. Andy, back to you.
All right, it's time to adjust your knowledge gains in our Smart Bit quiz with our 3 control automation questions. The questions are scored using actuator output percentage, and today we'll be testing your knowledge on robot development platforms. Let's begin with our first question for 25%. A robot tries to pick up wobbly jelly cubes. When grasping an irregular, deformable object, which approach minimizes slippage and internal stress? Is it A, use a position-controlled end effector with predefined grasp trajectory? Or B, implement force-torque feedback with impedance control for adaptive compliance? And the answer is B. implement force torque feedback with impedance control for adaptive compliance. Impedance control adapts to object compliance and prevents over or under gripping. Okay, let's move on to our next question worth 25%. A home robot scans a messy room. One version understands the full 3D scene, separating and identifying overlapping objects, while another only spots a single flat item on the floor. Which test demonstrates scene-level semantic understanding? Is it A, segmenting and classifying multiple overlapping objects in 3D point clouds, or B, detecting a single planar object in RGB images? And the correct answer is A, segmenting and classifying multiple overlapping objects in 3D point clouds. Semantic segmentation of point clouds demands high-level perception and 3D processing. Okay, let's move on to our final question worth 50%. Two robots sort toys from a messy bin. One blindly follows preset motions, while another constantly watches, adjusts its path, and avoids collisions as objects shift around. Which method is more robust for sorting multiple objects in a cluttered bin? Is it A, vision-guided open-loop trajectory for each object, or B, closed-loop visual servoing with collision-aware motion planning? And the correct answer is B, closed-loop visual servoing with collision-aware motion planning. Closed-looping servoing compensates for object displacement and sensor noise. Want to try again? Just click the link on your screen and be sure to check out our other AE videos for the latest in control automation.